Hello and welcome again to the Mud Pie. I'd like to speak to you today out of the book of Proverbs, and in particular Proverbs chapter 24. Proverbs 24, and I'll begin reading at verse 30. I went by the field of the slothful, and by the vineyard of the man void of understanding. And lo, it was all grown over with thorns, and nettles had covered the face thereof, and the stone wall thereof was broken down. Then I saw, and considered it well. I looked upon it, and received instruction. It's a wonderful section of the scripture, and perhaps we should read further. In verse 33 we read, "Yet a little sleep, a little slumber, a little folding of the hands to sleep, so shall thy poverty come as one that travaileth, and thy want as an armed man." I don't know. I suppose I'm an old-fashioned cuss. I don't know. But some subjects are just not dealt with anymore, neither from the pulpit nor in daily devotionals. But I'd like to speak about this just a bit. What I'd like to talk to you about is sloth. Now there's an old-fashioned word. And its consequences. I don't think these verses need any kind of a paraphrase. Their meaning is absolutely apparent to any honest reader. The passerby has captured for us a very clear picture of the sluggard's garden, and at the same time, perhaps the condition of his home and his business. More than likely, from a look at his garden, you can also see the dark clouds and the desolation that hang over his soul. For the vigilant, there are many good things that come out of this evil, as you learn the lesson on the virtue of diligence. We read, "Then I saw and considered it well. I looked upon it and received instruction." There's a lot to be learned by looking closely at this garden. I think a good student can learn valuable lessons even from a very bad teacher. The learner and the lesson stand before us as in this proverb, which clearly looks like life itself. What do we have here? A passerby is suddenly stopped by something that he sees on the wayside. He finds an elevated standpoint and gazes intently through an opening, a breach, in a broken down wall. There he sees a vineyard on a sunny slope and a field. There's also a small farmhouse. There were no ripening clusters of grapes, nor was there a well-dressed vineyard. There were no waving grain fields. Neither was there any husbandman busy at his tasks. Thorns and nettles covered the entire field and choked the vines. The wall that once surrounded it was crumbling. There was no fence around the vineyard to protect the fruit, and no fruit to be defended. The owner did nothing for the farm, and I might add, the farm did nothing for the owner. However, this neglected spot did something for the passer-by. In a strange way, this garden produced a fruit for the beholder, for the observer. Note that the sluggard did not receive the fruit. The diligent man reaped and carried off the only fruit that the garden produced, a warning. The owner received nothing. The observer received instruction.